Hello, lovebirds. TonyaTko here, bright and early. Um, when I was on my way into work today, well, actually, last night when I was sleeping, this idea came into my mind, and the idea of this video, and so I ignored it. I'm not sure if you guys, if any, you know what, we've been talking about psychic phenomenon and stuff like that lately. I'm not sure if any of you have ever had this happen to you. But like, sometimes I feel like when I'm sleeping, there's a conversation going on. Sometimes I don't remember the conversation when I wake up. But I remember this conversation. I decided to come out and talk with you guys about this only because this conversation lingered on my mind as I woke up. And then when I was on the train this morning, I felt like this nudging, like this pushing in my chest, like, talk about this, talk about this. So I decided to come out, and I wasn't planning on making a video. I'm dressed in all black. I never make videos in black. I hardly ever wear black, and so this video was about the baby trap. I don't know how else to say it. I didn't make any notes for the video. I figured if my spirit is going to lead me to make this video, there's somebody out there who needs the message. And so I'm just going to let my spirit talk through me and use me as the conduit for the message for whoever it is out there that needs this message, that's going to find this video and get the message. Here we go. Let's talk about the baby making trap. You know, I went for my annual pap smear. And I went for my annual checkup in January. And when I was there, I was made aware that there is and I wanted to know, do you know that someone messing with your birth control is a form of domestic violence, a form of assault? Well, someone taking off the condom while they're having sex with you is a form of assault. They have these agencies called Planned Parenthood, and at Planned Parenthood, the basic gist of what Planned Parenthood is all about. I know everybody has their own ideas about what Planned Parenthood is all about and why it was created, but basically it was made so that people could have and the ability to plan when they're going to be parents. Being a parent is a big deal. It's a big deal. You bring another life into this world. And I understand the intoxication of mixing with somebody else's pheromones and the lust that comes from mixing with somebody whom you have a lot of chemistry with. And so, oftentimes there are things that happen when we're in the heat of the moment. And then there are manipulative things that can happen when we're outside of the heat of the moment. I wanted to educate you that you ladies and you men, somebody messing with with your birth control, messing with your pills, poking holes in condoms, trying to trick you into having unprotected sex with them, removing the condom. These are forms of sexual violation, forms of sexual I don't know if assault is too strong of a word, but it takes away your choice of when you decide to reproduce. And there's a huge problem going on. I'm gonna get my board. There's a huge, tremendous problem happening out there. And part of the problem, and we're going to talk about this right now in this video, part of the issue. Okay. There's my board doing its gangster lean. Okay. Basically, all right. I know it's crooked, just bear with me. Basically, as a sexually active adult, you have the right to decide with whom you procreate and who you don't procreate with. One of the issues is someone tampering with your birth control. Another one of the issues is someone messing with your mind. I want to make you aware of several sentences that you need to be on the lookout for. Be on the lookout. Batlo. Be on the lookout. Okay. First sentence. Oh, come on board. Work with me. Okay. The first sentence that I need you to be on the lookout for is, oh, you know what? This board, oh, I really hate when this happens. Oh, no wonder the thing is not even. Here we go. Let me, come on now. I want to get into the video. Ridiculous. All right. You know what? Listen, I hope everybody had a nice weekend. I hope everybody had a fun, safe weekend. I think there may have been some people who may have gotten into some trouble over the weekend, and that's why I was propelled to do this video. So hopefully the people that this is, well, I already know the people this is intended for will get the message and receive the video. So if you know anybody who is struggling with this, pass them the video. If you're struggling with this, you found this video for a reason, I need you to be on the lookout. I need you to be on the lookout for these phrases, okay? Number one, I want you to have my baby. I want you to have my baby. That's warning sentence number one. I want you to have my baby. Warning sentence number two is, we would make cute children. We would make cute children, lovely babies, gorgeous babies. Use the word there. Well, we would make whatever offspring, beautiful offspring, strong offspring, or whatever. Okay, that's warning sentence number two. And warning sentence number three is, warning sentence, oh, I can't think of warning sentence number three, but it's along the lines of, I want you to have my baby. I'll just say, I don't know. I want to make you pregnant. I want to impregnate you. That wasn't what I had in mind, but that whole board thing just messed up my flow. Okay, I want to impregnate you. I want you to take a look at all three of these sentences. Be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for number one. I want you to have my baby. Be on the lookout for sentence number two. We would make gorgeous offspring. Sentence number three, I want to impregnate you, or have my baby, or let's have a baby, or what do you think our baby would look like, or all of that. You know, we would have strong kids. We would have, oh, this, that, and the other, right? Okay. Now, all right, those sentences in and of themselves are not bad. I just want you to be very cognizant and very aware. I mean, those sentences in and of themselves are not bad, but if somebody is talking to you about, excuse me, my camera's not acting right. If somebody is talking to you about having a baby, impregnating you, if someone is tampering with your birth control so that you can get pregnant, if someone is talking about, you know, what type of offspring that you guys will have, what they're really talking about, what's missing. I want you to pay attention to what's missing from this sentence. Number one, if they're saying this stuff, let me just pull the board off of the thing that's holding on my leg. Oh, now the board is breaking. There we go. If somebody is talking to you about these things, what's missing? What's missing? What's missing? I want you to have my baby. We would make cute offspring. What's missing? Number one, nobody ever said anything about you being a wife. They didn't say, oh, you would make a good wife, or oh, I want to marry you, or oh, you know, oh, let's get married, or you know, let's stay together forever. If somebody's talking about you having their baby and they're not talking about you being a wife, if somebody is attempting to impregnate you, but they're not attempting to first marry you, it's all right. Listen, they can talk about it if they want to. Where's my ring? Hey, put a ring on it, right? If you like, you should have put a ring on it. Where's the ring? Where's the wedding? You're talking about baby. You know what baby equals? Oh, Let me tell you, this is code word. We would make gorgeous offspring. You know what that's code word for? That's code word to mess with your mind as a woman. Because all it takes to make some offspring is this little sperm right here and this egg. So in essence, if a person is talking about your babies or what type of babies you'll have or what type of babies you'll make, the only thing they're talking about is they're priming you up. They're priming you up for pow, 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 unprotected sex. That's what they're talking about. That's code word right there. They're not talking about staying with you forever. They're not talking about, listen, it's so easy for a man to have a baby. All it takes is pow, pow, pow. Shoot some semen up inside your vagina, and then you're pregnant. And then all of the hard work carrying the baby and all that other stuff is left, the burden of that is left on you. That's you. You have to do that now. Now you have to go rearrange your whole life, because of this baby that you had for this person. And it's like, it's like first things first. You want to talk about what type of babies we'll make? What about what type of wife I'll make? What about first things first? What about marrying me? If a person is trying to impregnate you, but they've not tried to marry you, this is a big warning sign. This is a huge, huge warning sign. Because what's happening is, men and women think in very different ways. You as a woman, you could be like, oh, wow, he said he wants me to have his baby. That must mean he must really love me and want me to be in his life forever. Oh, he must have chosen me to be the one. I must be his one. Well, in fact, you might just be the one he wants to bust his nut up in raw. That you might be that one that he's like, okay, well, I don't think she has a disease. Meanwhile, has anybody been tested? It's like you need to, number one, number two, rather, let's be very conscientious of men who try to run up in it raw without you being first tested. That means how many other people have they done this with? Come on. It's like, sometimes, well, no, all the time, we as women, we need to listen to what he's really saying. Instead of adding all of our other fairy tale stuff, listen to what he's really saying. If he has not said that he wants to marry you, if he has not married you first and created a stable, secure house for you and your future children, then that means his intention is for you to be a baby mama, or even worse, a cum bucket. I don't know how else to put it. Someplace for him to dump his semen. And if a baby so happens to be made, okay, but he's doing it irresponsibly, and he's putting the cart before the horse. And it's like, is that the type of man that will lead your household? Is that the type of man that you would want to lead your household? Somebody who's just willy-nilly, without full thought, going around tossing his seed up inside people's homes. It's like, so I want you to wake up. And I want you to be cognizant of this trick, this mind game that's going on out there. Because when somebody says, oh, we would make gorgeous babies, that's code word for, it's supposed to be an overt compliment, saying that he thinks he's gorgeous and he thinks you're gorgeous too. But then that's a covert ploy, it's like a seed that gets planted, and then this seed just starts to grow and grow and grow. And the stuff that is encapsulated in this seed is, number one, what does it take to have babies? Intercourse. Not only intercourse, unprotected intercourse. Not only does it take unprotected intercourse, but it takes unprotected intercourse with you in your vagina from this man. And then it gives the implication that he's going to be there to even see what the children look like. It also speaks that he wants children. It speaks that he's not afraid of children, that he's not afraid of commitment. That's what's planted inside the seed, but that's not what he's really saying. All he's really saying, and all you should hear, is that he wants to squirt inside of you raw. That's all you should hear. And you need to be very alarmed, and you need to be alerted to what is actually going on and what he's actually saying. And if somebody says something like that to you, or we make gorgeous kids, or I want you to have my baby, and all this other stuff, start talking to him about, okay, listen, if in your mind you're going to feel that he's saying this because he wants a long-term commitment, ask him about it. He put baby on the table, right? Baby is forever. Let's make it official, homie. Let's get that ring on the finger. Let's walk down the aisle. Let's create a cohesive unit before we start talking about bringing new lives into the world. Because what happens? There's no commitment. That in love feeling, that the feeling that that helps you secrete dopamine, that keeps you in that in love state, lasts for 18 months. After that, it's going to take like common bond, respect, mutual respect. It's going to take growing together. It's going to take understanding. It's going to take common values and goals to stay together once that phase wears off. So okay, so you have the baby, and then what after that? What happens after that? He can, without the paper, without the documentation, without that legal documentation, he can leave. He might be able to leave after you have that legal documentation, but with that legal documentation, his social security number, his real first and last name, you have his paperwork, and you have a legal binding agreement. If worse comes to worse, you know how to find him for child support. Some people are having intercourse with people who are like, oh, I want you to have my baby, or messing with birth control, and they're staying with them. People who are taking off the condom and they're still with this person. Then what happens? You end up pregnant. You don't know how, you don't have this person's social, so you don't really know how to get in contact with them. You don't really know what's going on. And it's like you set yourself up. You set yourself up for a lifetime of trouble. Number one, you turned yourself into a baby mama. Then what? What happens after that when you look at this child who looks so much like this man? What do you say? What do you say? How do you teach this person about who their father is, or why their father left, why the father's no longer there? You got tricked into getting pregnant. Then what? I understand that this child is half yours, and this, everybody's like, well, this is my child too. Yes, but this is also a person who has created a fruit onto their family tree, but you don't even know how to find their tree anymore. You don't know his parents. You don't know his side of the family. You don't know what to tell this child. Not only if diseases or any type of illness or whatever comes up, when you see your child with a certain temperament, or when you just, how do you explain half of their heritage to them if that person is not there? How do you convince this child that it's not their fault? In a child's world, everything revolves around them, and they're going to internalize the fact that dad is not there. They're going to think maybe they weren't pretty enough. Maybe they cried too much when they were a baby. Maybe they'll even blame you. You did something to drive dad away. So I want you to avoid all of those problems, please. Avoid all of those problems. Take your time. Take your time. And before you decide to make a lifelong commitment like a baby, make a lifelong commitment like a marriage. And if they're like, oh, that piece of paper don't matter. Okay, well, if the piece of paper doesn't matter, let's go and get the piece of paper then, since it doesn't matter. Oh, a piece of paper is not going to keep us together. Okay, that's fine. Well, let's go get the piece of paper first then. Why not? If I were gonna make a business with somebody, create a partnership, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry about the documentation. We don't need to get any lawyers involved. We don't have to create a contract." Then when they leave and I got all the bills inside this place to pay, what am I gonna say? Oh, they left me with the business without that documentation. No, get your documentation. And if there's anybody out there putting the cart before the horse, trying to talk about splitting up profits without getting that documentation, or talking about making babies without that documentation, get that documentation. That's a warning sign right there. That's a warning sign, because any man who is responsible and truly cares about himself, he wants his child to grow up in a stable environment. He wants his child to grow up in an environment that is conducive to the betterment of his child. Some of these people out there, they don't care about themselves. So their offspring, please. They're like, well, I've populated the earth. And then they leave it up to you to carry the brunt end of things. You're a full-time babysitter with no financial help. And then the moment that he has to give 6%. Well, how much is child support nowadays? 16%, is it? You know what, I'm not exactly sure what child support is, but it's a menial amount compared to the full-time task and job that you have at hand. I have goodness. I have a friend who is not receiving any child support, and the father makes it seem like it's a big deal for him to come over and babysit. And I'm like, you have the children 24 hours a day, day in and day out. And he's acting like he's doing something big for him to come over and babysit every once in a while. And those are his children too. Who's there to tie their shoes in the morning? Let me tell you something. Children need to be washed, bathed, fed. Somebody has to do their homework with them every day after school. They need to be tucked in. They need somebody to teach them how to be good and viable human beings. It's not just, oh, just have my baby get a big cute stomach, you're so cute and rosy. When that baby comes out, that baby's going to cry, and that baby's going to need food, and that baby's going to need clothes. And every 6 months, a child needs a new wardrobe. So it's like somebody's talking about putting a new life into you, onto your family tree and his family tree, but he hasn't talked about combining the families or officially and legally. And we all know he can leave. We all know he can leave. The way things stand right now, with the way oxytocin goes, women secrete oxytocin at a rate 5 times greater than men. And with you carrying that baby, you're going to be bound or have a connection with that baby. Oxytocin is a binding chemical. It makes you feel bound to him. It makes you feel bound to the baby. Meanwhile, he secretes that at a rate 1/20th of what, of a 1/5 rather, of what it is that you're secreting it at. So he's not really bound to the baby yet. It takes him a lot longer to even bind to you. And so he's talking about this baby. Meanwhile, this baby comes out. Some of these men I hear complaining, and I'm like, hush your mouth, hush that noise. They're like, oh, she's going to spend the money on shoes. Listen, honey, talking about this woman is going to spend the money on shoes. Let's really think about that. Okay, so you give a little $200, $300, what, a month? She's going to spend that on shoes. Meanwhile, this child needs a new wardrobe every 6 months. This child needs homework. This child needs to be picked up. You know how much daycare costs? You listen, before you go have a child, go price out some daycare centers. Some of these places are $400 a week. A week. I ain't playing. Some of these places are $400 a week. And it goes up from there. Please. Then you're talking about having more than one. And he's talking about some $200 or $300 a month is a lot. Meanwhile, his child needs someplace to sleep. His child needs food in their stomach. His child, listen, a portion of your rent needs to be paid by that child support. A portion of the fact that you're a full-time babysitter needs to be paid for that by that child support. The transportation, the Head Start program, the clothes, the shoes, the food, the roof, the heat, the water, the lights, the electricity, all of this, it costs money and it costs time and it takes out of your life, and your life stops. Meanwhile, he's going out there to the next person, squirting in them. Somebody, I want you to have my baby in the heat of the moment, talking some craziness, making you feel all warm and gushy inside. Meanwhile, that's just some sex talk, messing with your head, getting you open into having unprotected sex. Meanwhile, ain't no ring. There's no ring. That's the end of this video. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. I said everything that I felt that I needed to say. And I hope this message gets to the person that it was, well, no, I know this message will get to the person that it's intended to. We talked a lot in this video, and I am spent. I'm spent. The whole purpose of this video is to get you to open up your mind and think, open up your ears and hear, open up your eyes and see what's really going on. I need you to project into the future to see what your future is going to look like once all of that wears off. Once all of that lust and infatuation wears off, and you're the one with this baby, and you're the one who has to look at this human being and explain to them what their life means, who they are, why dad is not there. And you know the sad part is that children always seem to long for the non-custodial parent. They have these fantasies. You know how children love to fantasize. They have these fantasies about how wonderful and how perfect this person is. Meanwhile, this person may be a child sex offender. This person may be addicted to some sort of substance. This person may be a violent abuser. And I'm like, take your time. Find out all of these things that you need to find out. Some of these things you'll find out once that social security number comes up on the table. You'll be surprised. You'd be surprised what you find out once you start legally getting into a union with a person. You find out whether or not they have other children whom they haven't paid child support on. Oh, please, don't be like somebody I know. Man said he ain't got no kids. He said he didn't have any. But meanwhile, right across the bridge, he has two twins. That's right. And he wasn't taking care of them. He never saw his children, and therefore it seemed like he didn't have them. But he wasn't there for them, and if he's not there for them, goodness, how's he? Come on, let's hug it out. Hug, 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 hug. Oh, I love you guys. Love, 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 love. Okay, now go out there and love one another. Most importantly, what? Oh God, yes. Love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself enough to know that you're worth the commitment before the unprotected sex. Love yourself enough to know that you are worth being able to trust a person when they're down there, that they're not secretly slipping off the condom. And if they do, show them what you really think about that. Whether it's you punching them out in the bed, getting up, throwing this stuff out the window, calling the police, whatever. Show them what you really think about that. Don't just, oh, he took the condom off. He tried to take away my choice of when I would reproduce. Just because he just loved me so much. No, 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 no. That's not love. That's not love. That's an act of hate. That's an act of taking away your choice of when you produce and reproduce. That's it. That's an act of violation of yourself as a woman. Not only taking away your choice of when you reproduce, but taking away your choice of whether or not you have unprotected sex. Don't fall for that. Oh God. Let's hug again, and then we're going to get out of here. I love you guys very much. Hug, 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 hug. Okay, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me. My website is being rebuilt. It should be up any moment now. You can come over there and join in discussions. That's TonyaTko.com. Facebook.com/TonyaTko show. Twitter.com/TonyaTko. I'm on Pinterest as TonyaTko. I'm everywhere. I'm on Instagram as TonyaTko. And that's what? That's right. Tonya with an O, TONYA, and all of the links are below the video. Just click the see more button. TonyaTko, and I'm out. Peace.